Good evening. I would like to bring the September 20th, 2017 meeting of the Interboro Board of School Directors to order. May we have roll call, Mrs. Caldwell?
Ms. Boyle? Here. Mr. Chavone?
Here.
Mr. Burns?
Here.
Mr. Phelps?
Here.
Mr. Eckert?
Here.
Mr. McGarvey?
Here.
Mr. Evans?
Here.
Mrs. DeBattista? And Mr. Harris.
Present. Mr. Evans, can we have the invocation and a pledge of allegiance, please?
Bless all schools, colleges, and especially the Interboro School District, and grant to this board in their deliberations this evening the spirit of wisdom, truth, and knowledge. What is undertaken always be done in charity and in peace, and what we do might be for the benefit of others. All this we ask in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we get to start off bright and fresh with our new student reports and representatives. We have Ariane and Samantha. Could you please introduce yourselves before you read your reports?
Hi, I'm Samantha Shemlock.
Hi, I'm Ariana Orth.
The Kindergarten Academy. The students at the Kindergarten Academy attended bus orientation in August. Parents set up busing for their children. Both parents and students were able to ride their bus routes and meet their bus drivers. Kindergarten orientation for incoming students was held on August 10th and August 28th. The children attended exploration stations while their parents had an overview of the KA program presented by the principal. The kindergarten open house was a great day for the students. Students and their parents met teachers, dropped off their school supplies, and toured the building. Mr. Kohlhepp has spent time transitioning into his new role as the Kindergarten Academy principal. Congratulations to Mr. Kohlhepp.
For Glen Olden School, on August 22nd, we held our student ambassador meeting with the PBIS and Miss Lambert. First graders came on September 5th for their orientation. September 15th was our back-to-school barbecue. It was a great success. September 21st is back-to-school night. It will be there to inform all parents and guardians about what's going to happen for that year.
Norwood held their annual back-to-school night on Thursday, September 14th. Norwood's annual community day was Saturday, September 16th. Students from Norwood School sang the national anthem. Miss Garvin's class traveled to the high school on Wednesday, September 20th, to participate in the CAPS program.
From Prospect Park, sixth graders returned to school early to get their new teachers. All students attended our PBS assembly, where we reviewed and expected positive and productive behaviors throughout the years with cheers and laughs.
At Tinicum School, once again, our custodial staff did a great job getting our school ready for opening day. Teachers, students, and staff were all happy to get to the school year started. The first graders had their orientation on September 5th. They were able to meet their teachers and other staff members while the other students were not there. They also enjoyed a snack provided by Home and School while their students met with the principal and assistant principal. Tinicum's back-to-school night will be held on September 26th, starting at 5:30 p.m. Many of our school organizations will be held in the lobby selling items and providing information to the community. Our teachers are preparing information for our parents for a successful school year with their children.
For Interboro High School, welcome back to the teachers and students. Thank you to everyone for a first great week. Freshman orientation was on Wednesday, August 30th. Thank you to all who helped out. Picture Day is September 21st, and our back-to-school night is October 3rd. The faculty is looking forward to meeting everybody and their parents and guardians. Thank you. That was our report.
Thank you, Ariane and Samantha. Welcome back. We look forward to a good year with you guys. We now have recognitions by Superintendent Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. On behalf of the Interboro School District, I would like to recognize our staff and our administrators who supported our mystery reading summer program that we had run through July and through the middle of August. I was happy to have the opportunity to participate down at Tinicum School and had a wonderful time. A lot of our staff and administrators went into each of the libraries throughout the month and were able to read books and do activities, and we had a great turnout by our students. So it was a wonderful opportunity and a great success, and we hope to continue that. That would not have been possible without the support of Mr. Pat Quinn, who goes above and beyond every summer to really help us continue to keep the literacy up and running and get kids reading throughout the summer. He's helped to coordinate this with our 4 community libraries. And also with Taylor Community Foundation and Kurt Slen, and also Chrysler, Vidian, Dodge, and they've donated very generously $750 and $250, and that money is going towards building our classroom teacher libraries in our 4 community schools. So I just wanted to recognize their continuing support, and our focus has always primarily and really been on literacy, because we know that literacy is the key to everyone's success, and we couldn't do it without the community. Our community librarians never hesitate to step up and work with us to make sure our students are utilizing our libraries, and without them, we would not be able to keep this going. So thank you so much. Kurt, thank you, and Davidi and Dodge. Pat, if you just want to come up and say a few words, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette, and thank you, school board members, for allowing us to do this each year. I just want to pull the people up and about. Kurt, can you come up? Eileen, come on up. Karen, Eileen is representing Norwood Director. Karen is representing Prospect today. Lori, I did say Lori's representing Tinicum, and I'm not sure somebody from Glen Olden is here tonight. But some of our librarians from our school district, can you folks come up as well? I just think it's important to note that our libraries and our school district working together, keeping these kids reading. I use this quote every year, and my wife and I were just in England this year where we were visiting a few libraries, and in England they have a statistic where they took 17,000 kids and they let them read for fun in grade school, and they excelled in high school. So that's what it's about at this level, reading for fun all summer long and getting the kids out there, and by the time they get to high school, we're hoping that they're great readers and they're reading for fun and going off to read books in the future. And again, these folks right here just prove that, the dedication they put into it, and Bernadette and her team, including Dr. Ekman, who steps up and helps us each year as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and of course, we look forward to continuing this, as the years go on.
We also did a presentation Monday night at Tinicum to represent the veterans. Normally we do our presentation during the summer, but you guys are in the middle of a budget crunch, so we postponed that to September. Sure. Representative Miccarelli could not be here tonight. He did make Monday night's meeting, and Tinicum won the trophy for Memorial Day, the flagging ceremony, and the essay contest. So, a good thing is happening. Thank you to the school district. Thank you all.
At this time, we'll have public comment. Mr. Evans?
Yes, we have Dawn Filla.
Yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to voice
Please state your name and where you reside from, please.
My name is Dawn Filla, and I reside in Norwood. I am here to voice my concern and frustration with the changes in the school uniform code because there's a lot of talk about what is acceptable and what is not. For me, when I read a specific line in which my daughter got a note home saying she was not allowed to wear a specific item of clothing, it states school or school district color clothing with logos or designs of any color or size permitted. The day in question, she wore a gray t-shirt that had superheroes on the front, and she was told she was not allowed to wear it. In talk on the Facebook page, the concerned citizens of Norwood and Prospect Park, there is very differing opinion and what is allowed at different schools. It appears that certain elementary schools or community schools are allowed to wear that and others are not. And at the same time, there are certain teachers within Kindergarten Academy that allow that type of t-shirt where other teachers do not. And so I am extremely frustrated with the discrepancy in that. And I am under the impression that this document is what needs to be followed. And at this time, it is, and it isn't. It's very confusing. And I just, in the end, I feel that designs need to be taken out, or it needs to be that designs are allowed, because logos and designs, by definition, are different. Thank you.
If you could stay afterwards, and I'll have Mrs. Riley talk to you, the superintendent, about this, please. I'd be happy to have her speak with you on this.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Mr. Evans?
Mr. Zerdy Doby?
Zerdy Doby Tinnicum. Number 3, the recognition. On Monday, the 31st of July, I went to the Tinnicum Township Library early afternoon. And after I had walked in, I heard someone reading to a number of children that were seated on the floor. And that person was Superintendent Riley, who was there with Dr. Ekman. So, summer, when people are off from their work, we had our superintendent and our Dr. Ekman at the library reading to children. So I just want to say something about that because of a number of other issues. Number 1013, the resignations. You have, at the last one is George Woloff, the maintenance individual responsible for the school districts. So it doesn't have a date. Now, I don't know what the issue is, but I think that you, Mr. Eckert, should make a concerted effort to try to resolve the issue or issues regarding why he is leaving and encourage him to stay. I don't know whether it's pay or it's something else that is irritating him enough to say that he wants to leave the Interboro School District. I think that he should stay, and I think that you and the board should make every effort to try and find out what the problem is and address it and allow him to continue his work at this school district. Number 12, there are two large amounts here. One is for $46,000, and this is for the cost of educating a student at some other location other than the school district. The other amount is $71,000. Now, $71,000 is a college education for a lot of people, maybe an Ivy League one, but I don't know. This seems an awful lot of money, and I don't know how to address it because it's, it's a pretty, I guess, a touchy subject when you send people out of the school district to have an education. So I'd like you to comment on that at some point during this meeting, just exactly, maybe a little bit more if you could, as to what we are paying for in this amount of money. Number 14.1 and through 14.4, which is the split dollar issue. At the July meeting, you had an issue where there was a court case. So the court case was settled, and the money that was due to this school district from Nationwide Insurance, has that been paid? Yes? Okay. And so these three that are mentioned in here, so is the understanding now that they will be paying the policies if and when these people die? Or is that going to be another open case? You're going to have to take it to court. We're going to have to pay the attorney. I mean, is there some understanding between the school district and the Nationwide Insurance Company?
Well, I mean, at this time, everything is going along as it should, and we're hoping that there don't have to be any further lawsuits filed, because Nationwide has been cooperating.
At the July meeting, I brought up two of the bond issues that you had engaged in, more than $13 million. And the costs for the two bond issues, one was $45,000, the other was $120,000 for expenditures. I asked why the difference of more than $80,000, which is probably the salary of at least one teacher, why you paid that much more for one bond issue as opposed to the other. Do you have an answer yet?
We did the next day for you, for the next meeting. Mr. High School, do you have that information?
If you want to do it now, or if you would during the course of the meeting, explain why we paid so much more for the bond expenditures. Do you want to do it now, or?
I would suggest, Mr. President, that we get back to him on this issue.
This is comment. Just
So you're not going to
comment.
respond?
We have the information for you. You may speak with him if you'd
Okay,
like.
so you want me to come there and get the information? Okay. Your documentation, you have listed 5.4% delinquent real estate taxes, which is the amount of $1,232,000 and $827. Now, the issue with the airport, I'm going to bring up again, because Tinicum Township announced that they did receive money from the airport, the $1.8 million payment that is due by September the 1st of each year. And I'm just making an assumption that they had already sent that money to you, $600,000. You should have received more than $1 million, but you settled for $600,000. So as of tonight, you have lost $2,400,000, more than that, which is going to the Tinicum Township and the county. They're receiving that $2 million, and the school district is not. Now, Mr. Chavone, at the August meeting, during the comments of the residency officer before you voted on that, said the following. He said that he commended the administration and the residency officer for doing such a good job, working diligently to make sure our taxpayer money is going towards our students. So I don't know how much the residency officer has recovered for the school district, but right now I put before you again the fact that you are losing more than $2,000 every single day that is going to the county and the Tinicum Township. and you have made no effort to recover that money, to renegotiate that agreement, that portion of the agreement, the airport agreement, to recover that money. So you have people who may be leaving because of money. I don't know. But if they are, you're losing more money every single day that you could return towards the children's education. And you refuse to do that. You sit there and say nothing. You make the effort. Go forward and renegotiate that tax fixed payment with the township and the county and get that money back according to the tax rate, because it's listed in that agreement under tax guarantee payments. I mean, it only makes sense that it should be according to the tax rate. So that's, the superintendent goes in the summer to read to children. That's who should be getting the money, not Tinicum Township or the county. The educator should. You passed the budget and you raised our taxes 2.9%. The largest employee groups, the teachers, did not get a raise. Now, they're going to get a raise of 2.5% this year. So I'm finished?
Yes, please, thank you. I appreciate it. Good to see you back, too. Evans?
Mrs. Phyllis Floyd?
Phyllis Floyd, 604 14th Avenue, Prospect Park. First of all, again, Mr. Doby, I don't know where he got his law degree to be able to interpret what he just said about the agreement. It is a contract. It was agreed upon. Like it or not, the fact is we cannot change it. And the board can't change it, the district. The fact of the matter is, I don't know when he's going to get it through his head that the county and Tinicum are not willing to renegotiate it, period. So therefore, what can the board do? The fact is, we're not losing that money that he states. The amount of money that he states that we're losing, that's ridiculous, because it's an agreement that is being followed, and that's it. So when he can show his law degree that he is capable of interpreting the contract or the legalities, then I'll listen to him, okay? The next thing is, as far as the schools and the amount of money that's being paid. These are special ed students. Under special ed, if a child has an IEP, and this has been told over and over again, if they have an IEP and it's been determined that they need a certain kind of education from a certain school, then regardless of what the cost is, the district, because of the law, we have to send them there and pay it. I'm not criticizing the parents or the student who's getting this education and the cost that the district is incurring. It's the law. Again, there's nothing the district can do. So the board's doing nothing wrong but following the law. Okay, and then as far as Mr. Walhoff, I said the other night how I personally am going to miss him. I was very much involved in him getting hired. I was on the board and part of the committee that interviewed. And out of the candidates that came forward, he was the best. And anybody that has witnessed his years here has to admit that he is or was the best. When I was on the board, we went through two other people, and they couldn't hold a candle to what George has done. And he was well respected by the people in the community, the board members, the staff, from the people that reported to him, to the professionals, the teachers, or whoever. He was very, very well respected and appreciated. As far as why he's leaving, I have my opinion. The fact of the matter is that where he's going are very professional in the way they treat their employees. And I can't help but feel that for a lot of different reasons, personal as well as an increase in salary, yes, but the fact is that he wasn't treated very well here. From day one when he came in, he was hired for one thing, and he got everything and anything dumped on him, and he wasn't compensated for it for a long, long time. And he never questioned whatever was asked of him, he did it. And the fact of the matter is that I'm glad now that I can have a conversation with him without him being interrogated as far as why was he talking to me, what did we talk about, and don't ever talk to her again. So that's the Phyllis Floyd rule for all administrators, by the way, because the superintendent is very insecure with employees talking to me because she feels not that I am friends with these people and have known them for years, but because they might be telling me something that she doesn't want me to know about. So I can't help but feel that George is going to a much happier place, and the stress that he has dealt with over the years for various reasons will be eliminated, and I wish him well and his family as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
No, sir.
Moving along. Number 5, Mr. Evans.
Motion 5.1, that the following minutes of the regular meeting of the Interboro Board of School Directors held on August 16th, 2017 be approved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Thank you. Solicitor's report. That would be you.
There is no report.
You got off easy.
Sorry.
Number 7, please.
Financial motion 7.1, that the attached treasurer's report for the month ending August 31st, 2017 be approved. And 7.2, that fund disbursements in the amount of $8,848,420.79 be approved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Next motion, please. Correspondence. Any correspondence?
We have no correspondence.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. We're going to move on to committee reports. Finance, Mr. McGarvey.
Yes, Mr. President, the Finance meeting met Monday, September 11, 2017. There's a couple highlights from the meeting. The preliminary financial statements as of August 31st, 2017 were uploaded on the board docs for review by board members. And there was a question regarding the start date for the independent auditors. The auditors have begun their field work Monday, September 11th. The draft audited financial statements are scheduled to be discussed with the audit committee sometime early November so that they may be approved at the November board meeting. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. McGarvey. GBO, Mrs. Boyle.
Thank you, Mr. President. On September 11, 2017, the GBO meeting was held. It started at 7:10, and these are the following topics that were discussed. An increase in day-to-day substitute rate, which is on the agenda for board approval this evening, for $80 to $100. The resignation update was provided for the start of the school year. The last item was, we discussed the immunization update was provided. Our meeting was over at 7:22, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Boyle. Legislation update, Mr. Burns.
Thank you, President Harris. Just two things to focus on. One, on the state level, obviously the major topic is the budget. There were two budget proposals that sort of floated through the House. One was known as the taxpayers' budget, but unfortunately for those that were supporting that, it did not have enough votes to carry. The budget that did pass with a 103-91 vote, and that is, if you look it up, it's House Bill 453. It's being kicked around the House in terms of how it's labeled as putting people first budget. The bottom line is for us, what does it do for education funding? The stalemate that has continued beyond September 15th means that there's no money that's left to be allocated, regardless of what gets passed in the Senate. So for now, the general fund is out of money. We don't really know what that's going to do for us per se. The September PISA reimbursement was discussed on September 19th. I didn't find any updates from that, as of from yesterday. But for now, it's just an uncertainty as to what the funding will be for not only just education, but special education subsidy payments. So I'll continue to monitor that. Hopefully I'll have a more positive update and more accurate update with numbers in the October meeting. It's a sort of off the beaten path, and just something I wanted to mention. Because the last 2 years, and it sounds like a broken record, we had budget issues, and I've reported on those budget issues, and it's just common knowledge that Governor Wolf and the Republican legislators sort of are at odds with the budget each year. They have been passing unbalanced budgets, and certain taxpayers are now taking issue with that and filing lawsuits based on the constitutionality of that, whether that's even allowable, really. So I'm just curious to see what, if anything, is done in the court system with how the budget situation has gone. And that could potentially impact how we are looking this time next year. And then on the federal level, you have the U.S. Secretary of Education has her agenda for school choice, and that's really been pushed a lot recently with her. So one of the things that she's addressed, not just with school choice, is also sort of moving away from a general curriculum with students and more towards a tailored system. And again, when you have on a statewide issue budget concerns, I think that we need to reconsider what costs would be involved with that. There's been a slight reduction in the federal budget for education, which is currently $68.4 billion. I believe there's a 3.5% reduction from last year's. So if we're moving towards more specific situations and we're moving off of the budget, I don't know how those two things are going to mesh. And that sort of circles back to what Mr. Doby was saying. There was a study that was done with 6 districts across the Commonwealth with school choice. And the conclusion was, regardless of district size or makeup, that there's a negative impact on pushing for school choice, and that's charter schools. And I mention it again because there is no charter school reform legislation that fixes any short-term problems. The ones I've mentioned from the last few months before the summer only deals with long-term, and it's a 20 to 30-year plan. So there's nothing that's changing for the short term. So as we continue to look at the budget crisis or situation statewide, and we look federally at some more specific school choices and student education, where's the funds coming from? So I think we all need to be attentive to the legislation that's going through here in Pennsylvania and make sure we're notifying, whether Nick Miccarelli's showing up to things or not. We need to call him and let him know how we feel about this. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Delaware County Community College, Mr. McGarvey.
Yes, Mr. President, I got 3 highlights for the month of September. Delaware County Community College will be celebrating the college's 50th anniversary homecoming. It's this Saturday, actually, Saturday, September 23rd, 2017, at the college's Marple campus. Board members are invited to attend. Board members and superintendents are cordially invited to attend the renaming of its Advanced Technology Center in the honor of the former college president, Dr. Jerry Parker, who retired this previous July. The ceremony will take place, rain or shine, at 9 a.m. Friday, October 6th at the college's Marple campus. And the last item is the Board of Trustees of the college cordially invites school directors, superintendents, and high school principals of sponsoring districts to its annual appreciation dinner at the Marple campus on Wednesday, October 25th, 2017 at 6 p.m. So if anybody needs any specific information, that is board members, please see me after the meeting or see Marge. Thanks. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. McGarvey. The Delaware County Intermediate Unit will be presented by me. We always say the best for last. The Delaware County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors met on September 6, 2007. Approved was a competitive grant for the Pennsylvania Pre-K Counts Program. Approval for a competitive grant for the Head Start Supplemental Assistant Program. Approve an agreement with the Scribs National Spelling Bee to sponsor the Delaware County Scribs Spelling Bee. Just on a personal note, I was there last year and we had a Glenolden kid that went all the way to number 3, number 4. So it's really fun to come out there and watch that. I'll let you know when that date comes along. Also approved a contract with Ridley Township Library for DCIU to provide building technology upgrades for the library. For up-to-date news and information, go to dciu.com. Thank you. Moving right along, number 10, Mr. Evans.
Point of order.
Sorry, thank you. Go ahead.
Can we dismiss the student reps, please?
Thank you, Mr. Eckert. You are excused. I always forget that. Thank you, Mr. Eckert. Number 10, Mr. Evans, please.
From personnel, motion that the following personnel actions be approved, starting with 10.1 on page 2, going through 10.15 on page 7.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Comment, not so fast, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Eckert.
I'd like to wish Mr. Rohlhoff the best of luck in his new position. He has approached every project that we have undertaken since he's been here with the utmost professionalism. Just a list of some of those projects for some of those that have forgotten. The completion of the air handle units here at the high school. There was a roof project at the last minute at Glen Olden, took a hiccup with the bid process where we had to do it at night work. It went off very smoothly. It took a lot of communication effort, and Mr. Rohlhoff and Mrs. Riley worked very well with the community. And of course, there was the mechanical upgrades of all of these school buildings. Every one of those projects went off very well, and we appreciate your effort in all of that. And I also wish you the best of luck in your new position, as well as your family. It's always stressful when you take on a new job and leave one, so good luck to you, and thank you for all of your help.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert. Any other comments?
Comment?
Please, Mr. Evans.
I'd like to piggyback on Mr. Eckert's words to Mr. Wolhoff as well, and not to mention also the fire restoration at the Tinicum School. He, along with his staff, were the first ones to respond and start taking action, and did quick work putting that school back together. Thank you for all you did.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Anyone else?
I would just also like to say thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Chavon.
Wolhoff, for all your help and your tireless effort to the Interboro School District. Good luck in your new position.
Thank you, Mr. Chavon. Anyone else?
Yeah, just
Comment?
Mr. Burns down here. Sorry.
Mr.
I'm on the other side of the aisle. I'm all the way down here. You got me?
Yeah.
I just wanted, when I first come in and firing questions at administrators, I think I hit George the hardest. And if you want to talk about somebody that was able to rebound quickly and provide more than enough information and great answers to questions and always do an A-plus job, it certainly was him. And I really appreciate that professionalism. And then secondly, with the feasibility study, he understood the importance of that and getting an overall assessment of the district in one sense, and then in another, exhausting a necessary step to get state funding, which a feasibility study was required to do. So I really enjoyed working with him, and he's definitely going to be missed. So I wish you the best, George.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Any other comment?
Comment?
Please.
George, I've only known you for 21 months now, and basically that's it's only a short period of time when you're a board of director because you're not here every day, but the short period of time that I had to spend with you, it was great. It was overwhelming. I enjoyed your professionalism, and I will comment later on the feasibility study at the end of the meeting because you were a big part of that as I was instructed to lead that project along with some of the projects you worked on. So you're going to be missed, and I just wish you the best of luck in the future, in your endeavors. And God bless you, and just make it a day at a time. Don't think about yesterday or tomorrow, okay? Good luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. McGarvey. Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to say something, Mr. President.
Please.
George, everybody said enough about you, so congratulations. We all know you're great. You did a great job. I would also like to congratulate Mr. Snyder and Mr. Patterson for their upcoming positions that they are moving up into. Thank you for all your help.
Wait, I didn't say anything yet. Mr. Warhoff, I also would like to thank you. It was an honor working with you over these years that I've been here. You'll definitely be missed. Now, I have no idea where we're at in this meeting.
Motion 11.
Oh, the motion has been moved and seconded. No questions or comments. We already covered that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Number 11, please.
Now, Office of Curriculum and Instruction, motion 11.1 to 11.7, that the following items be approved.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Number 12, please.
From the Office of Special Education Pupil Services, motion 12.1 to 12.18, motion that the following items be approved, starting on page 8 and ending on page 9.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board?
Comment, Mr. President.
Please.
To start with, this is a motion that deals with some very special students in our district. But my comment, and I'll try to keep it close to what the motion is that over the years sitting on this board, there's been many people from the public, and I've been approached outside in the public as well as to our staffing of our district. Where does our money go? How come we have so many administrators? How come there's so many people in the school buildings? When I went to school 40 years ago, they only had a principal. Education has changed. Requirements have changed and needs have changed. And the reason this is more of a focus right now for me on this particular issue here is this is probably the most at one time that I've seen that we're moving kids to different schools outside of the district in one meeting. So it's a chance to bring focus to the fact that our education system is not where it was 40 years ago. So when you sit down and you think about when you were in school, you need to realize, again, our requirements of how we educate our children has changed. And we as a district are responsible for educating those children. So please keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert. Any other comment? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Number 13, please.
In the Office of Technology, motion that the following items be approved, 13.1 to 13.2.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Number 14, please.
From the Office of Finance, motion that the following items be approved, 14.1 to 14.5.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Number 15, this is a roll call vote.
Motion to approve the attached memorandum of understanding between the local police departments from Glen Olden, Norwood, Prospect Park, and Tinicum Township. The purpose of this memorandum is to establish procedures to be followed when certain specific incidents occur on school property, at any school-sponsored activity, or on any public conveyance providing transportation to or from a school or school-sponsored activity, including but not limited to a school bus.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, may we?
President Harris, I'm going to
sorry.
abstain from this vote. I had not an opportunity to fully digest the memorandum, so I'm going to abstain from this for your count.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. May we have a roll call vote? Mrs. Caldwell?
Ms. Boyle?
Yes.
Mr. Chavone?
Yes.
Mr. Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Eckert?
Yes.
Mr. McGarvey?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes. Motion passes 7-1. 7-0 and 1 abstention. Thank you. Number 16, this is also a roll call vote.
Motion that the Board of School Directors cast their votes for the following Pennsylvania School Board Association slate of candidates as follows. President Otto Voigt, Vice President Eric Wolfgang, Treasurer Mike Gossert, and PSBA Insurance Trust Trustee Marion Neal.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, may we have a roll call vote? Mrs. Caldwell?
Ms. Boyle?
Yes.
Mr. Chavone?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Eckert?
Yes.
Mr. McGarvey?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes. Motion passes 8-0. Next motion, please.
Motion that Margaret Caldwell be approved to renew her Pennsylvania Notary Commission at a cost of $245 paid from district funds.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Number 18, please.
Motion that the Board of School Directors approve the second reading of the following policy, the category of operations. That'd be 820 photo ID badges.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Do we have any old business? No old business? New business? Mrs. Riley?
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I would like to welcome everyone back to the new school year, especially our new families. I hope that everyone's year has gotten off to a good start. Hopefully you have been able to attend our back-to-school nights that have happened so far. We do have a few that are upcoming. Glen Olden is September 21st, that's tomorrow evening. Tinicum is September 26th. Prospect Park is September 28th, and the high school is October 3rd. October 8th is the 5th annual Walk for Bullying Awareness and Kindness Day. The walk will begin at Interboro High School at 9 o'clock with check-in starting at 8. We are hoping for another great turnout as there will be plenty of activities over at Park Square and Prospect Park. There are forms in the back on the table, and they are also available in the schools. I would like to officially congratulate Mr. Snyder, who is here this evening as the new principal of Glen Olden School, replacing Miss Lambert. I would like to thank the teachers, the parents, our board members, and administrators who participated in the interview process. Also joining the admin team at Glen Olden is the new assistant principal, Mr. Eric Patterson. Eric, why don't you stand up for just a minute? Thank you. Congratulations. Eric began his career at Glen Olden School. He is currently the reading specialist at the high school. We don't have an official start date yet, and we are in the process of filling his position. So welcome aboard. I would like to congratulate Tina Horn, one of our high school PE health teachers, who is a Westchester University Hall of Fame recipient for swimming. That's quite an honor, so congratulations to her. And finally, I would like to add to everyone else else's comments about wishing well to George as he moves on to his new career path. George, you and I have worked very closely together over these last few years, and I think for us, those 4 o'clock phone calls and text messages and calling snow days, George and I have spent a lot of time on the phone together, and that's not an easy thing to have to make that decision on, but George has always worked with me, not only on that, but a lot of projects, and you and I have had our conversations, and I wish you the best, and I will miss you, and hopefully we find somebody who can replace you and do as good of a job. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Riley. Any other comments from the board members? Mrs. Boyle.
I would like to wish George and his family best wishes. I was just sitting here thinking about your role and how it played, within the district, and it has to be one of the most critical roles of a district because you kept it running, and you did a fabulous job, and I thank you for that. Best wishes, and you will be missed.
Thank you, Mrs. Boyle. Any other comments?
Comment.
Mr. Eckert, I think.
It was Mr. Eckert.
Thank you.
The school years have begun. This is what the school district is all about, educating our young people. But also, the school district offers many diverse programs for the students to participate in during the school year, and some of them go into the summer months as well. With the state of what is going on in the communities with fighting the drug epidemic that is going on, I'm reaching out to you, the parents. This school district offers over 100 extracurricular activities. That is 100 separate activities for your children to be involved in. This is your tax dollars. Your children should not have idle time in the afternoon. They should be participating in something, being part of a group, reaching out for a support group with friends and things like that. So please, take the time. Encourage your children, your students, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, whoever they are. Take the time and ask them, how come you're not in anything? There's 100 separate things. If you turn around and would break down the JV sports, it almost doubles. That's just activities in sports. And I'll give you a breakdown. There are 27 separate activities at the high school. They include plays, National Honor Society, Spanish, German, French clubs, future business leaders, and the list goes on. There's 42 activities in the community schools that can be taken advantage of. There are 21 high school sports. And again, if you break it down to JV, you're almost talking 42. 10 middle school sports. There's no reason for these children in this school district to go home in the afternoon. Please get them involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert. Any other comments?
Comment?
Yes. Mr. McGarvey.
Thanks. I've been involved specifically and intimately with the feasibility study project and the tasks associated with that this year. And I just want to recognize Mr. Wolhoff and Mrs. Haggerty for their time, their energy, and support with the feasibility project tasks that have been undertaken in 2017. I appreciate the time with the team meetings, the use of the staff, and external resources to accomplish the tasks, and getting those, completed in a reasonable amount of time and in cost-effective means as well. The data center, South Avenue complex roofing project, and the high school surveillance camera project completion just indicates, what can be done, projects can be done when we work together as a team and, with the effort through, administrators and their teams. So I just want to thank you guys a lot for getting that done and look forward to working with at least Mrs. Haggerty in the future, since Mr. Wolhoff won't be here. And Mr. High School as well for your financial assistance in that. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. McGarvey. Any other comments from board members? Going once, going twice. All righty then. On Monday, October 2nd, which by the way is my son's birthday, so it's very important that everybody comes to that, is the Finance Committee meeting, and GBO meeting immediately following will be held at 7 p.m. at the board room in the administration building. The next work session of the Interboro School Board Directors will convene at the board room in the administration building on Monday, October 16th at 7 p.m. The regular Monday public meeting for the Interboro School Board Directors will be convened in the Auditorium High School on Wednesday, October 18th, 2017 at 7 p.m. With that, we are adjourned. Have a good evening. Thank you.